2.64 seconds. That's what Femke Bol ran to win this race. And on the surface, it sounds like just another fast indoor 400. But here's the number that actually matters. The gap between Bol's final 200 meters and her competitors wasn't raw speed. It was 0.4 seconds, built entirely on efficiency, not power, not a faster top end. Mechanical discipline through the curves. By the end of this breakdown, you'll see exactly where that gap was manufactured and why most of the field never had a chance to close it. Natalia Kajmarek came in running the best indoor form of her career. Justina Święty-Ersetic had the experience and rhythm to hurt anyone on a tight track. This wasn't a field Bol could simply outrun. She had to out-execute them. Watch what happens from the gun, and specifically, watch what Bol does at the 150-meter mark that the others simply cannot match. The race was held in Toruń, Poland, a venue that punishes technical error. The indoor track there uses tight 180-degree bends with a short home straight, which compresses the race into a format where bend mechanics matter more than anywhere else on the circuit. The circumference puts athletes on curves for roughly 50% of total race distance. Any inefficiency in lean angle, hip rotation, or lateral foot placement costs time that a straight-line burst cannot recover. Bol came through the first 200 meters in approximately 24.9 seconds. Not a blisteringly fast opening, but that's the point. She was running at roughly 97% of her sustainable output, holding a stride length of around 2.15 meters at a cadence of approximately 4.6 steps per second. A runner forcing a 24.4 opening split at that cadence draws down phosphocreatine reserves 12 to 15% faster, and the body collects that debt in the final 80 meters. What's most surprising about Bol's first half isn't how fast she ran. It's how little her mechanics changed under early race pressure. Most 400-meter runners at the 100-meter mark show a measurable rise in shoulder tension, a slight forward collapse of the torso, and a reduction in hip extension. These are natural stress responses. In Bol's case, her torso angle stayed within 1 to 2 degrees of vertical through the first bend, and her heel recovery, the height her foot reaches behind her body, remained consistent at roughly 60% of hip height. That mechanical consistency translated to less wasted vertical energy and more horizontal propulsion per stride. Kajmarek ran the opening lap with slightly more forward lean, not catastrophic, but measurable. The consequence shows up later. And here's the thing about indoor racing. You don't see the cost of early lap decisions until the third turn. That's where the race is actually decided. One detail that stuck with me when reviewing this race: Bol's shoulder position through the second bend. While her competitors begin to show what coaches call armoring up, a tightening of the upper body that reduces arm drive efficiency, Bol kept her elbows swinging through approximately 90 degrees with her hands relaxed. This sounds minor. It isn't. Tight shoulders restrict breathing mechanics and accelerate the onset of lactate accumulation. A runner who stays relaxed in the upper body at the 250-meter mark can defer that physiological wall by 3 to 5 seconds of race time. At elite indoor pace, that's the difference between 50.64 and 51.15. Most people assume the 400 is won on the final straight. The data says otherwise. The decisive phase in indoor 400 racing is the third curve, roughly the 250 to 320-meter segment. This is where blood lactate crosses its threshold in most athletes, where stride frequency begins to drop, and where maintaining pace becomes a conscious effort rather than an automatic one. Bol covered that segment in approximately 9.4 seconds. Kajmarek covered it in 9.7. That 0.3-second gap didn't close. It compounded. So why couldn't Kajmarek, who ran a personal best of 51.15, an exceptional time, close the gap in the final 80 meters? She had the fitness. She had the motivation. She was racing at home in front of a Polish crowd. The answer comes down to what Bol had already taken away by the time the final straight opened. Running at a pace that requires 51.15 to complete, Kajmarek's body was already managing significant neuromuscular fatigue through the third curve. Her stride length in the final 60 meters shortened by an estimated 8 to 10% relative to her peak. Bol's shortened by approximately 5 to 6%. The finish isn't a sprint, it's a controlled deterioration, and Bol managed it better because she had more mechanical reserves left from disciplined mid-race pacing. Święty-Ersetic's 51.40 illustrates the same principle from a different angle. She ran with strong rhythm and genuine race intelligence, positioning herself well through the first 2 laps. But rhythm only carries you so far when your physiological ceiling was set by opening lap decisions. Her third curve split was 9.8 seconds, 0.4 behind Bol. That was the margin. Here's the take that will get some pushback. Bol didn't win this race through superior fitness alone. She won it because she understands indoor racing mechanics at a level most of the field hasn't reached. That is a coachable, learnable skill. And right now, in this specific event, she is operating several iterations ahead of her rivals. That gap should concern European 400-meter development more than any time difference on the results sheet. Is the technical advantage Bol has built sustainable, or will the field eventually close the mechanical gap? That's a real question, and your answer probably depends on whether you think elite technique is primarily trained or innate. Leah Claver finished 4th in 51.93, showing competitive quality but lacking the third curve efficiency to challenge the podium. Alma Brugelmans posted 52.02, a solid personal benchmark. The remaining finalists completed a technically demanding race on a track that exposed every gap in bend mechanics. What this race teaches about indoor 400-meter running applies beyond Bol. The event rewards athletes who can sustain mechanical quality, shoulder relaxation, consistent stride length, controlled lean angle, through the third curve. That's the phase to track in every indoor 400 you watch. Not the finish, not the reaction. The 250 to 320 meter window. That's where the race is written. Bol's 50.64 was a season best, and it was a statement delivered precisely when it needed to be. Early in the indoor calendar, in front of her closest rivals, on a technical track that punished anything less than controlled execution. Closing this gap requires not just fitness, but a complete mechanical reevaluation of how the field approaches the third curve. If this breakdown changed the way you'll watch the next 400-meter race, subscribe for more analyses like this one. And if you want to see how Bol's outdoor mechanics compare to her indoor performance, that breakdown is next.